Hello my dear learners, welcome to my channel. In this video series, we are learning the Java programming language with practical demonstration. In the previous video, we learned about the wrapper class, pass by value and pass by reference practically. To learn that topic, please watch my previous video. The link is given into the card. Now, in this video, we will learn about double equal to operators, equals method of the object class, compare to method of the comparable interface, and a compare method from the comparator interface. So, let's start the session. Here I have opened the Sublime text editor to give you the practical demonstration. Here I am creating a class, say for example class name as a student, okay, and then what I am doing is I am creating a main class, say for example student demo. Student demo is our main class. I am saving the file into the Java folder studentdemo.java. Oh, and in that class, I will write the main method, public static void main. So it is the starting point of the program execution. Now, in the student class, I am creating a variable integer marks. Here from the main class, I will create a variable, say for example, integer I equal to 120, comma, j equal to 120. J equal to 120 semicolon. Okay, now I will print over here, say for example system.out.println. Here I will write, see he say over here I and j is an integer variable and both the variable has a equal value, say for example. Okay, so what I am doing over here is I will just write I equal to j. So this is the equal operator is used to compare two values. Now I am opening the CMD for the output purpose and I am changing the font size over here. Okay. Now I will move to the particular location in the D drive in the Java folder. We have the file using javac studentdemo.java. I am compiling the file. Now I am running the file java student demo. So as we can see in the output, we are getting a true as an output because both the value are same. If I change the value, compile the file, run the file, it is returning the false value over here because both the value are not same. So you can write a variable equal to variable over here to compare the two values, and you can use the object also. So this double equal to is used to compare two values. Now I am creating a variable over here integer marks, and I will write a constructor for the student class. Say for example student. In the parameter I will write integer marks. Say for example, so student have the marks. So I will write these dot marks equal to marks. So I am assigning the parameter value to the instance variable of the class from the line number 4. Okay. So from this line we are assigning the value to the instance variable. That value we got from the formal parameter of the constructor. In the main method I will write, say for example I will create an object name as student Ram equal to new student, say for example. Okay, and I will provide value over here 120. Okay, you can say 150 also, right? So I am creating another variable, say for example Lakshman over here. So we have two objects of the student class with initial value 150 and 150. Now what I will do is over here I will compare these two objects. Say for example Ram equal Lakshman. So I will comparing the object now. Equal to operator is also used to compare two object also. So I am saving the file. As you can see in the line number 15, we are comparing two objects. Ram is an object of the student class. Lakshman is an object of the student class, and we are comparing the value of the object. Compile the file, run the file, we are getting a false over here because Ram is an object and Lakshman is an object. Both has the both has the same value, but this double equal to operator is not used to. I am compiling the file, run the file. You can see now we are getting true and a false, right? It is used to compare two values because as we are getting in the output Ram equal Lakshman, it is giving me a false. It means that both the object has a different value, but we are providing the same value. So that is why the Ram is an object, Lakshman is an object. Both are allocated into the different memory, right? So that is why we are getting a false as an output. Both the object has the same value, but the object memory allocation is the different. So here we have provided the double equal to operator is not comparing two objects, right? So double equal to operator used to compare two values, and we have provided the constructor also. In that constructor we have assigned the parameter to the instance variable. Now I will write over here, say for example public string, sorry, you can say public boolean equals. So the equals method I am writing over here. So equals method, it is of the object class. Equals method, it is the method of the object class. It not applicable for primitive, and equals method is actually meant to compare the content of two objects. This equals method is used to compare two objects, the content of the two objects, right? And then the equal method is used to compare the content of the two objects and not their location in the memory. So that double equal to operator compare the object location in the memory. That is why we are getting a false as an output. But as the part of equal to method is used to compare the content of the two objects, and double equal to operator is used to compare the object location, the memory location of the particular object. It will compare the reference, not value. So double equal to operator compares only the reference of the particular object, not the particular value of the object. But the equals method is actually used to compare the content of two objects, and it will not look for the memory location. I have written over here public boolean equals. Okay, so equals method, it is of the object class, and object is the super class of every class, so no need to inherit the object class over here, because object class is a super class of every class. You do not need to you do not need to extend the boolean class into any class. It is the super class of every class. So here I have written public boolean equals. So I am overriding that equals method of the object class over here. So here I am overriding the equals method with the parameter of the object class. Object O, I have written object O over here. This O is the variable, is the object of the object class. So every class has the super class, and that is the object class. So object class is a super class of every class, and that class has the equals method. That is what I am overriding the equals method in my student class. So I have written public boolean equals in the bracket object O. So object is our parameter over here, and in the method I will write, because we need to check for the equality. So I will write return true, where it will be written. Before that I need to check the condition. Say for example I will write if over here, and in that if I will check not the O instance of student. So first of all that will check for the is the O is the instance of, and then it will return the false. If not, then it will return the false. So when we pass the object over here, that is look for the instance of first, and if the object is not instance of the class, and at that time it will return the false, otherwise it will return the true. Okay, so this is the main condition. We have overridden the equals method of the object class over here. So O is the instance of student. First of all it will check for the instance of, is the O is the instance of the student. If not, then it will return the false. We have written the condition with a not. You can see over here, O is the object of the object class, is the instance of the student class. We are asking to the Java. If not, so it is written the false value. So O is the instance of student. If the value of the O is the instance of the student, and then we are checking for the not, it means that if the passed object over here is not the instance of the student, it will return the false. If the passing object is not the instance of the student, then it will return the false. That is what I have written in the condition. If not O instance of student. I hope you are learning this logic very well, because this is very important logic to understand the equals method of the object class. So here we are checking with the instance of, and you can say here also if say for example these dot marks not equal to O dot marks, and if this is so will return the false, right? Because the equals method is used to compare the value of the object, right? So here we have checked the value. If these dot marks is the instance variable of the class and O dot marks is the passing object of the student class, at that time if the both value are not same, it will return the false over here. So I have written the second condition over here. Okay, so if the passed object has the mark value and there is that object mark value and the class mark value are not same, it will return the false, otherwise it will return the true. So here over here I will write, say for example I am providing the value over here with the ram dot equals, say for example ram dot equals Lakshman. Okay, so here we have calling a equals method, and in the method we are providing a parameter as a Lakshman. Okay, so cannot find symbol O, variable of type O. Okay, when I am going to compile the file, it is giving me an error, cannot find symbol marks of the object O. Okay, so O is the parameter of the object class we have provided in the equals method. So why it is giving me an error? Let me check. We have what we have done. We have written student class over here, integer marks of the instance variable, and O dot marks is the passing object parameter. Object is a class, and we have a parameter of object class over here. So what I have done mistake, these O dot marks, it is not finding the value of the O dot marks because O do not have the marks property, because the marks property will have as a for the Lakshman object, and we are providing the Lakshman object into the parameter, so that need to be converted into the student. Here I need to write the student because it need to do the typecasting. This is what we have done with the typecasting. We have converted the object into the student class now. Okay, so the object class do not have the marks property. We are we are passing the Lakshman object to the equals method. That is why we need to cast it. Okay, so O is an object of the object class. It need to cast it by the student class. So from these we have converted our object class object variable into the student class. So now that is what we are done with the typecasting over here. You need to do in the equals method. So O is the object of the object class. You need to convert into the student over here, and now the student have the marks property. Okay, so that Lakshman is now converted into the student, and now when we are going to compile the file and run the file, as you can see in the output, we are getting true over here, because Ram has the value with the 150 and Lakshman has the value with the 150. Both the object has the same value. That is why we are getting a true in the output. And in the equals method, we have checking two condition. So this equal method is called and giving us the true as an output. I will paste over here, copying the line. So this is what we are getting a true as a equals method because both the object has the same value. Okay, when the student constructor called for the RAM with the 150 value, and when the student constructor is called for the Lakshman object with the 150 value, so both the object has the same value, same content. That is why it is giving us the true as an output. And we have checked for the two condition, instance of condition and the not equal to condition in the equals method. I hope you are getting this point very well. And then we need to do the typecasting also. In the line number 9, we have done the typecasting from the object class to student class. That is what I have given you the demonstration for the equals method. I am repeating that equals method is a method of the object class. Object class is a super class of every class, and I have overridden the equals method over here with one parameter. So we have checked the two condition is the equal method. One is the not O instance of student, and one is these dot mark not equal to student of O dot marks, because the O is the variable of the object class, and that we need to typecast for the student class because object does not have the marks property. The student class has the marks property. That is why when we are passing the Lakshman as an object, Lakshman is object of the student class. That is why we need to cast O into the student class because the Lakshman is the object of the student class and has the marks property. And then we are comparing the values with not equal to operator. If the both values are not same, it will returning the false. If the object passing object is not an instance of the student class, it will returning the false. If these two condition on line number 7 and line number 9 are getting false, then and then only the function will return the true value. That is why we are getting as a true in the output, because the Lakshman is an object of the student class, and Ram and Lakshman has the content with the same value. That is why we are getting a true as an output. On the line number 7, we are comparing if the O is not instance of the student class, then and then only it will return the false. And then we are checking with the not equal to operator. If these dot marks not equal to students of O dot marks, at that time it will return the false. But if the both condition is false, then and then this equals method return true value. I hope you are getting this point very well, and please keep this point in your mind. You can override the equals method of the object class in any class because object is the super class of every class. Keep this point in your mind. Object class is a super class of every class. Here we are not extending the object class over here. I am writing the core logic of the equals method over here, and I have overridden the equals method of the object class. So now I will write over here. Now I will write the compare to method. Say for example, this is the equal method of the object class. Now I will write compare to method, public integer compare to. So compare to method will return the integer value, and compare to method is the available in java.lang.comparable interface. Compare to, it is an abstract method of the java.lang.comparable interface. Okay, so if you need to override this method, it is available into the comparator interface. It will returning the integer value, okay, and having a one parameter as an object class. So I need to write over here object O. So compare to method has a parameter as an object class. It is compare the values. Compare to method is used to compare the content of the passed object. it will return the 0 if both are equals. It is returning an integer value. That is why I have written over here integer, because the compare2 method returns the integer value. That is why I have written integer over here. It is returning the 0 if both value are equal. So I will write over here return, say for example, these dot marks minus o dot marks. O is the object of the object class, and we will pass the object of the student class. So here also we need to do the typecasting over here. We need to convert this O object to this student class. So I will write over here student in the bracket, and in the whole bracket I will write the student of O, because we have typecasted. Now the O is converted into the student class now, and student has the property name as a marks. That is why we need to do the typecasting over here. Now what I will do is over here I will write say for example system.out.println. Okay, now I need to compare the value. Say for example ram dot compare to Lakshman. So if the calling object is greater than the pass object, it will return the positive value, and if the calling object is less than to the passing object, it will give us the negative value. So here we are getting a 0. It means that both the object has the same value, 0 if both are equal. So you can see in the code Ram is 150, Lakshman 150. So both objects are assigning with the 150 value. That is why we are getting 0 over here. When I make it 160 now, so Ram compared to Lakshman, as you can see in the output, positive if calling object is greater than to passed object, and negative if calling object is less than to passed object. In our example, we have taken example Ram is assigning with the 150 value and Lakshman is assigning with a 160 value. See over here. So when I am going to compile the file, run the file, we are getting a minus 10 over here. It is giving us the negative value. Why? Because the calling object is less than to the passed value. The value of the calling object here is a Ram. Ram is a calling object and Lakshman is a passed object. So if the calling object is less than to pass object, it will provide us the negative value. Now I will change the value. Say for example, Lakshman dot compare to Ram. Okay, now I have compiling the file, running the file, we are getting 10 as a positive value over here. So if the calling object is greater than to passing object, it will provide us the positive value. So you can see Ram has the 150 value and Lakshman has the 160 value. So this compare to method is a method of the comparable interface. We have overridden this method in this program. Okay, I will import this comparator later on. Currently I am giving you the core logic of the compare to operator. So this is what I have given you, the typecasting over here. You need to do the typecasting over here. Typecasting to object from object to the student class. Okay, I hope you are getting the point of the compare to operator, compare to method over here. So here Ram on the line number 28, Ram is a calling object and Lakshman is a passing object, and on the line number 29, Lakshman is a calling object and Ram is a passing object. So if the calling object is less than to passing object, it will return the positive value. If the calling object is less than to the passing object, then it will return the negative value. And if the both object has the same value, it will return the 0 as an output. So compare to method is used to compare two values of the object. I have given you the core logic of the compare to operator, and we will import the comparable and comparator interface in this program later on. But for now I will give you the core logic of the compare to and a compare method also. Okay, so this compare to method we have overridden. So it is available in the java.lang.comparable interface, but we will implement this interface later on in this program. But for now I am just giving you the core logic of the compare to operator. It will having a one parameter as an object class. It is used to compare the content of the passed object with the calling object. Now, what about the compare method? Compare method is an abstract method of the java.util.comparator interface. It is available in the comparator interface. And what I am doing is, I am writing over here public integer compare method. So it is returning an integer value, that is why I am writing integer over here. And public compare, it will having a two parameter of the object class. Say for example, public integer compare method having a two parameter of the object class, object o1 comma object o2. So we need to pass two object over here to compare the values, right? It will return the integer value. Say for example, I will write integer o1 dot, so that o1 is need to cast into the student. Currently I am writing only the o1 dot marks minus o2 dot marks, okay? But that o1 and o2 are the object of the object class. We need to typecast to the student class. So I am writing student over here, and that O2 is now casted to the student class. So similarly we have to do for the O2 also. Now O2 is changed casted to the student class. Similarly we have to do for the O1 also. I have casted O1 to the student class because O1 is the object of the object class and do not has the marks property. So that is why we have to convert it into the student class. And when we call the compare method, we will pass two objects from the main class Ram and Lakshman. We have a two object, okay? So that object we are passing into the compare method, and at that time object class do not have a marks property. So that is why what I am doing is I am creating an object. Say for example, student Bharat equal to new student, okay? So student Bharat equal to new student. I have created a new object as a name of the Bharat. So I am copying the line, paste it over here. Now I will write over here. This is very interesting, guys. I will write, if you want to call the compare method, I will write Bharat dot compare with two value Ram comma Lakshman, because we have two object name as Ram and Lakshman. And the compare method we are calling with the object name of the Bharat. So now I am compiling the file. Okay, constructor student in class student cannot given into the type. No argument, actual and formal argument list different in the length cannot be applied to the given type. Student Bharat equal to new student. Okay, let me see what is the problem over here. Required integer and found no argument. Student constructor over here, I am compiling, saving the file now, because student it is the default constructor. Now I am compiling the file. It is compiled successfully, you can see, okay? And when I am going to run the file, Java student demo, enter, it is giving us the -10, okay? So if the calling object is less than to the passed object, that is why we are getting a negative value in the compare to method. If the calling object is less than to the passing object, it will provide us the negative value. If the calling object is greater than to the passing object, at that time it will provide us the positive value. And if the both value are equal, then it will provide us the, it will return us the zero value. So as you can see over here, it is a method of the comparator interface, but we do not have implemented yet. Now, because I have given you the core logic of the compare to and compare method. Okay, these both method are available into the comparable and comparator interface. So when we implement that two method, this will give us the same output because we have overridden the methods compare to and a compare method. So here I will import java.util.comparator, the comparable and comparator, comparable comma comparator, okay? So now I am saving the file. These both interface are available into the comparator, into the util package. As you can see in the output, we have compiled the file and we have run the file getting the same output. But what is the difference over here? Before this import statement, we will have the same output, and after the import statement we are having the same output because we have overridden these two methods, compare to and comparable. So that's all from my side in this video. In the next video we will learn about the exception handling in the Java practically. So stay tuned to my channel, like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys.